welcome into the episode. If you're new here, welcome. I'm, of course, your conductor of chaos here. My name is Zach. Along with me, I have my first chair, Nick.
Howdy, howdy.
This week is going to be all about good and bad. How much good and bad there is? There's a lot. Which topic would you like to riff on to begin here?
What do we got on the docket this week?
We can talk a little bit about TV and movies. We can go straight into the sports how I usually start.
I mean, why break with tradition now? Let's go to that sports.
Of course. Let's talk about the good and bad in sports. The good, how about the Denver Broncos?
Hey.
Being a Denver fan here, boy, oh boy, how I never thought I'd feel so terrible during a game to be feeling like I'm on top of the world, just completely invincible.
I mean, yeah, overall, it was a week of remarkable performances in many sports, but the Broncos pulled out an all-timer in their 33-point fourth quarter comeback.
Most ever by any team. It's been the first time, and I think the NFL said like 1,900 games about where a team has led by more than 20 points in
like
6 minutes left.
1,600 games. It was like 10 years of regular seasons worth of games where an 18-point lead in the fourth quarter was a win.
Now the question I have, and I have my own thoughts and beliefs, but my opinions are clearly biased by the mountain I'm living on top of. What are our thoughts now about Bo Nix as a quarterback for the Denver Broncos? With this comeback victory, we only, there's a certain number of names we can say who have done this, all have retired numbers on a board.
Yeah, absolutely.
Does he kind of establish his name now as the guy? He is a franchise guy now?
I feel like we've had this conversation about Bo a couple of times already in his first, I mean, this is his second season still. We're still in the first half of it. He's still a very young guy with a lot of room to grow. That being said, I think, yeah, he's shown an X factor, if you will. Like, a lot of people have tried to, like, is it an Elway-esque thing? There's
something about him, and he has it. What it is no one quite knows yet.
Yeah, but it's that special sauce that lets you just kind of willpower you and your team across the finish line when all of the odds say that shouldn't be possible.
I much prefer, for all the gamers out there, that he would ult a little bit earlier, because boy, I'm going to die very young here if we keep having to go through these fourth quarter comebacks.
I think that's the thing, is the victory overall, like, put a pretty rosy tone over what was largely an embarrassing
the worst game we've played in a very long time.
3 quarters of absolute miserable execution across the board.
Which is crazy, because if you look at the stats, he had, I think, close to 300 yards. He had 4 touchdowns, 2 passing, 2 rushing.
Yep.
He was 27 for 50, which is not great on
not
the
a great
numbers.
Percentage, but like, you'll take 27 completions in a game.
For sure. So it does not feel like, statistically, if you look at the game, it felt like
it was a fine stat line at the end.
But good football game overall.
You don't see the distribution where it's all backloaded in that last 10 minutes.
15 minutes, pretty much.
Yeah.
On top of the good here, our Colorado Avalanche are still doing fairly okay as the weeks goes on. They've gone to overtime twice, which are their only losses, which still result in points for them, which you can't be mad at.
Yeah, no regulation losses. We're picking up at least a point in every outing.
Both in shootouts, too, I do believe. We can't finish a shootout.
Both in shootouts with 2 different goaltenders, Wedgwood in the Dallas one, and then Trent Miner last night in our bout against Carolina, a.k.a. the Hartford Whalers for that one. But yeah, that was we've run Wedgie into the ground. It was not, no one was like terribly surprised that he put up a bit of a stinker.
About due for a break.
Yeah, I mean, he's supposed to be the backup. This was like his 8th game in a row.
Was it him I was seeing a highlight of where he like stole a goal?
Yeah, I mean, he has been the story, like one of the feel-good stories of the year to start the season. Since February of last season, like just cumulatively, he is top 3 in goals allowed average in the league.
Where's our guy Blackwood at?
Blackwood had an injury at the beginning of training camp. He is just, I believe, finished up a reconditioning stint with the Eagles. I know the Eagles just finished up a 3-game series that they were doing, so I think it's kind of decision time for if he needs like another game or 2, and then it's going to be probably another week before we see him, but we are getting ready for the first back-to-back of the season coming up ahead, so it would be nice to have our number 1 back, but you want him to be healthy. You don't want a longer-term injury to have to deal with, because as great as Trent Miner did last night in relief,
ideally
there's a reason he is 3rd on the depth chart.
I assume he's like the Eagles goalie that he is up here.
We're borrowing him from the Eagles because
what a trade for them.
Yeah.
We'll take Trent Miner and you get Blackwood.
Mackenzie Blackwood for 3 or 4 games.
I'll take it.
Yeah, good times for them. But yeah, overall, I mean, still pretty happy. But the bad news in Avs Town, if we're talking good and bad, the bad news is the power play.
Once again,
the elephant in the room, the problem that probably cost us the playoffs. And so far, we went. In last night's game, we had 8 power play opportunities. We converted on 1 of them. That is a pretty abysmal percentage.
12.5%, which is not ideal if you are a man up.
Exactly. I mean, it got to the point after like penalty number 4 where the Canes were clearly just like, we can do whatever we want because a penalty actually gives us better ice time, like control. They actually do worse when they're on the power play now.
That's weird.
It was very strange. We've already seen a lot of mixing and matching and who is on that top unit. Still trying to find a left-handed slap shot to replace the Mikko Rantanen right side of the unit there. It's been Lekkonen's been getting some looks. Olofsson's been getting some looks. Middlestat had to try a couple games out there last year. Brock Nelson got moved into the bumper to see if that does anything, and no, it didn't because Val Nichushkin's a much bigger, better guy to put in the middle there. He did get the one and only power play goal we had last night as soon as he did go out there, so it's a work in progress that people are very quickly losing patience with.
Speaking of good and bad, basketball season has started. We kicked off a couple days ago. We're recording here on a Friday, so we kicked off Wednesday, I do believe. Last night, the Nuggets kicked off. The bad there is our game started with a double overtime from our championship game from the Indiana Pacers, who are the lowly Indiana Pacers this year, taking on our champions, the Oklahoma City Thunder. Thank you guys for allowing me to miss a quarter and a half of my beloved Denver Nuggets.
It is wild that the basketball people do double overtime in the regular season. Like, what? You guys don't have anything better to do on a weeknight?
It's kind of the start. You can't just...
everyone else has figured out if we're going to extras, there's got to be some sort of,
to be fair, out of all
game ender.
Yeah, out of all the games, right? It's football, you can end in a tie, which is still weird to me. Hockey, we'll just do a shootout for some show. Basketball, we have no contact. We're just getting in extra cardio at this point, basically. Which is like, no.
Do you really need that on night 1?
Ideally, no, but Adam Silver's not going to come down and say, no, this is too much.
In the next collective bargaining agreement, I want some way to end regular season OT after like 5 minutes.
I'm sure they'd be okay with the draw, especially on night 1. Night 1 for my Denver Nuggets did not go very well. We did not.
Well, we had some good and some bad.
We did have good and bad. The bad is we did not win our game. We did lose into overtime, unlike the hockey world. We get no points for that. We just hold the L. Thank you very much. Bad there also, Steph Curry is still... Steph Curry won the game for them. It was very upsetting to watch the ending.
I tuned in with like 2.5 minutes left to be like, oh, let's see here. We've got a nice little lead.
You wanted to see a magician work.
And then I watched and listened as Steph Curry absolutely demolished us. And like the announcers are like, Christian Brown can't, like, there's nothing he can do. He's doing his best.
He took a shot from half court behind Draymond Green. Like, I don't know what to do about that.
Exactly.
You don't do anything about that. Just hope he misses.
It's the kind of thing of like game planning against Jokic, where it's just like he can just do things we can't stop. I don't know what to tell you.
Don't know. He had a rough first half, but he really ignited in the second half.
It's that clutch factor.
Unlike him, though, Aaron Gordon, best start to the season in Nugget history, coming away with almost a triple-double, 50 points to his name, 8 rebounds, and I think 5 or 6 assists.
And 8 of 8 from the 3?
8 or 8 from the 3. He only missed, I think, 8 or 9 for the 3. I think he only missed 3 or 4 shots on the night total.
I mean, an absolute masterclass. He came out ready to take advantage of that open look.
I know he's been working very hard on getting that 3 ball on point because somebody needs to.
He took great steps last year in improving because that was a weakness in the championship run. And I mean, if he's taken it even further to becoming a threat, because I mean, as we saw, Cam didn't have such a great debut as a Nug.
I kind of expected him to have a little bit of a rough go. He's only been with us for a couple weeks because we did kind of like training camp preseason to kind of get him fit in.
They went out to China at some point, right? Or the Nuggets not part of that? that one?
That was just kind of on his own sort of thing. But he did come back from that into preseason and training camp just to kind of get a feel. But to get a feel of the Nuggets takes a second because you're not used to what Jokic is able to do.
Yeah, the Jokic-centered offense and, being ready for him to hit you whenever.
And the role for him is a little bit different. He's not used to, unfortunately, he did come from Brooklyn where, God, you have to do everything in your willpower to try to win a basketball game. To now you just sit in the corner and...
He's going to more of a support role instead of being a hard carry.
Very much so. So a little bit different for him to kind of get in the groove of things. Good news, though, for the Denver Nuggets is our bench did not look so terrible this go-around. Bruce Brown, Vucevic, Tim Hardaway, all our offseason additions, with the exception of Cam, have shown to be worthwhile.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and it's kind of okay for one guy to have a little bit of an off night when you've got the other pieces there behind to pick up the slack a little bit. You're not just relying on two guys off the bench to do all the heavy lifting anymore.
So if we look with our rose-colored glasses on, Denver Nuggets did not win the first game, but we have 81 more to go on the season,
they
which is
put up 133,
which is a ridiculous amount. I mean, I'm excited to see what we continue to grow. I think Cam does need to do a little bit more, and he will do a little bit more. The one thing I will say from the switch from him to MPJ is defensively, we just look a lot better overall. Like,
for sure.
Really, Steph Curry won the game for the Golden State Warriors. No one else is doing anything.
Yeah, you subtract Steph Curry, any other team, that was a lockdown fourth quarter probably.
Yeah, sometimes you just walk into the Steph Curry magic and there's nothing you can do about that. You can ask LeBron James, you can ask anyone else on an NBA roster.
You can ask Team Serbia from the Olympics.
France, everyone. No one is immune to the Curry.
He's an international threat.
Very much so. But I do believe that is all I had for the good and bad in sports, unless there's anything else. Wait.
We've got bad basketball news.
There is more. I forgot about the bad.
Yeah, the Thursday kind of opening of the NBA season marred by the breaking news that the feds have made arrests out of the league itself. Both Chauncey Billups, head coach of the Portland Trailblazers, and Terry Rozier, and a few. I think they arrested a couple others as well. There's some other names, but those are like the two big names in all the headlines of like, hey, active NBA employees caught up in
this is
two different sting operations.
This is an absolutely wild story.
It's pretty. Two separate things going on. One is a mafia-backed rigged poker game circuit that has been going on for decades.
Many years. From what we know, it's been going on for at least potentially as long as Chauncey Billups has been in the NBA. Potentially, I do believe allegedly. Don't know if that's for sure, but it's been going on a very, very, very long time.
Yes, and then a separate thing that was already investigated by the league, if I'm not mistaken, for very suspicious sports gaming bets placed on games in which Mr. Rozier has had either performed in or exited early, or any number of strange occurrences that one might dismiss as statistical anomaly or something, unless you're looking at the bets placed on those particular events happening.
Who would have guessed in the great year of 2025, 5 years post-COVID, that we'd be talking about a mafia sting inside of professional sports like we are in the 1960s, 70s, or 80s.
I mean, it's never gone away. It just goes quiet for a while.
La Cosa Nostra.
Now, coming out with somebody got sloppy, someone squealed, and now some heads are rolling.
From what I've heard, they've been interviewing a lot of different people, and there's a lot of different names tied into this poker game.
Yes, I mean, the poker thing has deep roots, and then coincidentally, there's some overlap in the organization of all these different sports betting things that have been piling up in the last couple of years.
But allegedly on the poker side, they've invited professional poker players to play in these rigged poker games, which, if you know anything, a professional poker player plays a lot of poker, and they know
when a game smells fishy.
When a game smells fishy, and they all kind of, I think, band together and said, we are...
I saw the same thing. I was scrolling after that news came out, a TikTok of an interview with someone from the pro circuit, and he was like, "Yeah, back in 2019, I heard and a bunch of my friends went, and they could tell, like, you just...
It was pretty obvious to a professional's eyes.
Exactly, and because the allegations are that this organization backed by the mafia was using all sorts of X-ray tables, shuffling machines that were rigged, many, well, how would you say, mechanical cheating devices that, to a pro who is used to a sterile playing environment can immediately be like, that doesn't normally happen like that.
Yeah, unfortunate our own Chauncey Billups got caught up in it, and is kind of the face of it all.
He is going to be, the face of that fight in court, and I certainly wish it weren't true, but it just certainly looks like there's a lot of evidence to put Chauncey Billups.
From what I know about just investigations in general, we know the kind of who's good and bad at doing their jobs. The feds usually do not arrest somebody without a really, really, really good cause and a whole lot of substantial evidence that you will probably going to have to settle at least for a plea deal on.
Yeah, they tend to only go for the slam dunks. So
pretty much. So not ideal.
A very sour note to start the basketball season.
Portland Trailblazers are without a coach now. I assume they have some sort of interim, and I don't expect Chauncey to potentially go back, if I had to guess, depending on how all this plays out.
It might be a while before we see Chauncey again.
Very much so. Unfortunately, or fortunately for them, a lot of Portland fans were kind of already calling for his head because the way he had run the team was not super ideal. They were expecting a whole lot more, especially the last year with what he had on the young roster than what they actually got. But we'll see how all that plays out.
Yeah, that's one way to solve that problem.
Yeah, now it's poor Portland's no Dame. The year they traded away Dame was sad. You bring in Chauncey Billups and all these young stars, and the young stars are not really great. And it's bad. And then you bring in DeAndre Ayton, and it's even worse.
Ooh.
Yeah, not ideal.
They will have WNBA to watch next year at least.
They will. Then they'll have Dame back next year for basketball. Just probably, or maybe later this year, depending on how all the ACL Achilles stuff goes.
And they can get ready to support their local new PWHL team when the season kicks off in November. I'm
actually shocked they don't have a hockey team.
Right.
That feels like it'd be a good place for.
I mean, that's been the rumblings with the Trailblazers guy buying the Canes.
That is a good place. North Carolina hockey, disgusting. Unless you come here and beat us in a shootout, apparently.
Yeah, there's some folks over there who are into it.
Very much so.
One other good and bad news that we do have to cover from sports, and again, this happened almost immediately after we recorded last time. Shohei Ohtani, in that Game 4 elimination game, kind of went ahead and said, hey, go ahead and take off any might be's, any doubts. I am the greatest baseball player of all time.
And the Los Angeles Dodgers bring out the Star Destroyer on the poor little Rebels.
Yeah, an absolute annihilation from the greatest baseball player to have lived thus far. Kind of no arguments anymore.
And the league, what is it, CEO, chairman is like, see?
Yeah.
You see?
See the problem here? How the $500 million roster can kind of just plow through anyone?
Yeah, pretty much. Over on the other side, the good news is one of the two good teams is going, and it is going to be the Toronto Blue Jays.
Toronto Blue Jays back in the postseason since
Very much so.
First time since the 90s, 92 or something?
Yeah, heartbreak for Seattle, though. Like I said, really a good story for either one of those teams, bad story for another one. Everyone in Seattle's sad.
I mean, it went to 7. They went as far as they could without getting to the mountain, climbing to the top.
Yeah, someone unfortunately does have to go home here unless someone in the NL just decides we're not playing. I think that those guys deserve it, which would never happen.
Blue Jays, Dodgers. Hard to tell the two teams apart visually. It's blue and white versus blue and white.
Yeah, but one's Canadian. That's how you can tell.
Okay.
Which is kind of funny because I think the Blue Jays are a much more disrespectful team than the Los Angeles Dodgers, who seems much more courteous and nice.
Interesting.
Vladdy don't care though.
I think there's more Americans on the Dodgers or on the Blue Jays than there are on the Dodgers.
Yeah, because the Dodgers are picking up all the international superstars so that they can pay.
Yeah, basically.
But in this World Series final, we are going to see Clayton Kershaw return, who did not play last series, and Bo Bichette return also as well, we've not seen for a while.
I mean, this is the time if you can play baseball and you're on the roster right now, you suit up for the World Series.
It's weird to me that you can just leave dudes off your roster. I thought the rosters had to be like set for your playoff run.
I mean, you can't call anyone up to replace them, but you can just sit a guy.
Weird.
Yeah, it's and like that is the thing when you include a player who like might not be 100%, you're just kind of being like, he's worth saving the spot for instead of putting someone else on and leaving him out.
Yeah. And speaking of the good, what a story for Clayton Kershaw, who's retiring at the end of this season to make it all the way to the World Series, where we are for sure going to see him and is going to be his kind of last go.
I mean, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer, no doubt. He is like, I mean, I think he ended up putting up better career numbers than Sandy Koufax. He certainly had a longer career for the Dodgers.
Wasn't as successful in the beginning, but this back half has been very generous to him.
I mean, yeah, he's been there for all of their recent championships. I think he has at least 2 rings already.
I only thought he had the 1.
I'll double check, because they also got one earlier in the I think he's gotten one before the Ohtani era.
Because I remember the COVID one where our guy didn't wear a mask and immediately got fined or suspended for the next games of the season. Think that's his only one, because out of the NL West, it's been mostly the Giants and Diamondbacks making it to the World Series.
Interesting. Was he not included in last year's because he wasn't on the roster?
I think that's true.
That's wild, because, I mean, the Dodgers won it last year. You'd think he'd be on, because, yeah, he's only listed for the 2021. That's crazy. Well, yeah, then it would be very fitting for them to get him one more to write off on. 2 World Series rings for number 22.
I'm curious how many players have actually ridden off into the sunset after a World Series win. It doesn't happen a lot in sports. Like, the only time in the NFL world it's ever happened is for our 2 quarterbacks here in the Mile High City, and Jerome Bettis are the only 3 that I can think of off the top of my head.
I think that is true. I can't think off the top. Well, no, I think one of the Boston guys did it after their
big run.
Yeah.
I think it was Veritek, actually, their catcher.
Yeah. There has to have been a handful of those type of guys, but I think that's the only one I can think of off the top of my head. But yeah, I think that is all of the sports news this week. We did have to shout outs, because we've been covering him all year. Shohei continuing to, saving some of his best stuff for the postseason too. After the 6-month grueling grind, that he can just still dig deep and be like, hey, 3 home runs, and I'm going to shut you out for 6 innings, and you're going to strike out 10 times, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Everyone in the league's throwing gloves at him, because just making the commissioner's dreams come true. This is why we can't have super teams, but it doesn't really matter, because Shohei Ohtani's destroying a team by himself.
Yeah, basically.
We'll move on into the media world, and we'll talk a little bit of a topic I've put a pin in for a while, but we've started to get a lot more rumblings now. Back in the while ago, we've had many versions of HBO Max,
sure.
Max, and all of this was because Discovery and Warner Brothers said, hey, we're family now. We're in fact one unit. We're going to eat you up. I think Warner Brothers ate Discovery ate Warner Brothers. I can't remember, or they merged, one of the two, to save the 2 kind of flailing companies.
Something like that, but now it's all getting undone anyway.
It is getting all done anyway, and at one point I had all my Discovery Plus stuff on my HBO Max. It was great. Now we're diverging, but the topic that I want to discuss is Warner Brothers is going to apparently get sold off to pieces, at least as a whole. Discovery, I think, is going to become its own thing, and Warner Brothers, they just want to get rid of. Why is this important? It's important for, I think, me and you mostly, because they hold some of the titles that I cherish and mostly remember from my childhood.
Yeah, Warner Brothers is a storied franchise media company, like a legacy thing. They've been around long enough that the iconic water tower in Hollywood has been the subject of spin-off animation shows, including the Animaniacs. That is like your Looney Tunes universe, all your Batmans, I'm pretty certain. What else is WB franchise?
They have a lot of franchises under them. The category I'm thinking of mostly is they own the rights to everything Cartoon Network.
Yeah, I mean, which is no longer an extant studio either, has kind of been axed to pieces in the same way in this media merger, unmerger.
Very much so. There's a scare. Well, I don't know how scary it is, but whoever gets Warner Brothers has access to all this, and Discovery did kind of a terrible thing and just kind of chopping out all the animation stuff that was one of the reasons I had the HBO Max subscription, is because they had all my childhood memories from Cartoon Network streaming all on one platform, which had never been done in ever really. It's kind of been a lost piece of media for the most part. No one's ever had the Cartoon Network licenses as a whole. There's bits and pieces of them out there, like you can go watch Gumball on your Hulus. They still have, I think, Steven over there as well.
There are fragments of it still extant in other media streamers, but yeah, there is no more cohesive library.
Nope.
To be had, which is unfortunately getting to be a more and more common trend amongst companies that have, I mean, we saw the kind of ballooning of everyone racing to go make their own streaming platform. And I mean, it sure was nice in the early days when it was just kind of like 2 or 3 options who all kind of could pick up the licensing to have all the different options on their platform. It was like, oh, between like Netflix and Hulu, I can kind of watch everything. And then Discovery has to be like, no, we're actually going to pull our content and make our own streamer. And HBO said, oh, well, if you're going to do that, we're going to pull our content and make our own streamer. And now we ended up back at a worse version of cable.
Yeah, I have another topic about what does the future of our media watching look like. But
we still have to hit dystopian future hellscape in the curve before we slide back out into anything resembling anything good.
Something about reinventing a will and things like that.
It's bad out there, fam.
But the biggest concern for me is, like we talked about, Warner Brothers Historic has all these franchises, names, titles under them. Not only just all the animation stuff we named, but Harry Potter falls under them.
Harry Potter.
The whole DC Studios falls under them. Which
the
makes
Dune movies, the Friday the 13th series, the Lord of the Rings.
I forgot about Lord of the Rings. They also have that, yeah.
Which they've milked for far too long. You could just have the original trilogy and you would have been fine, but whatever. Mortal Kombat is a Warner Brothers. The Matrix is. Classics here. Yeah, the anime. Oh, Rocky. Classic Rocky. Superman. Yeah, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
The question is where is there a right place for this to go? Because I don't. The two names that I've heard thrown out there is, of course, our beloved overlord, Empire, Death Star, Disney, and of course their rival across the way, the Black and Red of Netflix, as being the potential spots. I fear going to Disney because now Disney not only owns Marvel, they also own DC.
That would be certainly conflict of interest sort of thing.
A little bit.
It doesn't feel like that's a healthy competitive market situation to have those under the same parent company.
Kind of, and I would assume that with the Disney motto right now is like Hulu is very soon going away and is just all folding under Disney Plus anyway. I can't imagine them holding on to Max or HBO Max or whatever they call the streaming platform.
Yeah, I mean,
same thing with
that's
Netflix.
The thing. We've seen the expansion and it was too much, and now it's going to be a retraction. So yeah, I think a lot of the apps and individual streamers are already like. I just saw Peacock is bundling with Apple TV now. That they're doing like a joint thing that's gonna turn into a eventual like, oh, Peacock is just now part of Apple Plus or something.
Yeah.
You're going to see a lot more of that, I think. So I don't know. Because I think Disney probably does have too many media interests already to be picking up another stray.
Yeah, with the Disney stuff, the Marvel stuff, the Fox stuff.
Netflix, on the other hand, has I think made weird decisions about burning big chunks of cash and then looking around and saying, why'd you let us burn all those big chunks of cash? Cut all these other things that weren't related to the big cash burning project.
The one I think I'm a little bit more hopeful.
Now hurry up, we have more cash to burn.
Yeah, Netflix did apparently they removed all their Netflix original stuff, or at least the branding of Netflix original stuff from their platform because it hasn't done super well. So little of it stays, and then we got the whole thing of because they were
basing things on metrics of like what is the first week response, and then projecting that out. After a month, they would be like, this one's not going to make it. We were like not going to renew it for another season, and then they'll announce that like in that first month of it being out, they'll be like, and it was decided that they did not pick it up for renewal or for a second. It's like, so why do I bother getting invested in this?
There's been some really good shows that I've watched that I didn't get to on the first week or day or whatever it is,
like,
and I come back and I'm just like,
that's part of the convenience of the app Netflix, is that it's supposed to be here anytime I want. The whole thing, I was so furious when they started being like, yeah, some of the selections in the library are leaving. What do you mean they're leaving? I'm paying you for access to these, you jerks. That was part of why I came here, to get these movies. You mean telling me some of them are going away?
Yeah, there's nothing more
from the digital library. Why are you deleting the files? How about just don't do it?
No, that's the one thing that upset me the most about Max is they started what they consider vaulting things, which they hold the digital files for. They just put it away so they don't have to pay people.
We have them. You just don't get access to them.
Yeah,
and that's that whole thing of like the Acme movie that got completely deleted for tax purposes, which was a Warner Brothers Discovery decision that pissed off a lot of people.
Understandably so.
And then set a trend for also a Batgirl movie to get canned. There was
a show, I think, a whole show that they had like planned out.
I think that was a episodic, longer form show with like probably 10 or 12 episodes or something. And they were in production is the crazy thing. Like the Acme movie was in the can. They just needed to sell it to anyone else to release it, and you still make some money off of it.
Export.
Literally, that's all.
Yeah. No. The only reason I think I'd want Netflix over Disney for the HBO stuff is it seems like Netflix is pushing more into a little bit more of the animated spaces these days, and I would want them to bring back the things I love and care about. Like, I think it's easy wins for Harry Potter and the Lord of the Rings and big name series like that. We know like a Harry Potter series is coming up, and boy, would that be good on Netflix. Didn't
that already get sold to Prime though?
The Harry Potter series?
Yeah.
I think it's supposed to go on HBO from what I remember.
It's since it's a WB.
Yeah, from what I was like the big reason why HBO bought Harry Potter or had the rights to Harry Potter in general.
Yeah, that checks out. But I mean, of the two evils, Netflix is the lesser, but yeah, not by much. But unfortunately, they are at a point where they've been, passed around and gutted so much that it can't stand alone as its own company anymore either. So it's kind of like
the vault is literally worth so much, and I can't imagine all the people who have money, which is of people of our age, they'll spend the $20 or whatever it is now, $25, $30 it's become these days, and just to go back and watch all the old animated stuff that they have access to, or any of the old movies or things like that they just put away.
And again, this kind of goes back to the thing we talked about a little bit last week of the physical media, and they don't make it anymore either for like new shows that can't, like, you might be able to find Steven Universe on DVD.
I would be surprised if you can find it all on DVD.
Yeah,
you can find probably some, the first 2 seasons maybe.
Yeah, but any show created after 2015, so in the last 10 years, you probably cannot find on physical media without like special ordering from some like custom website or something.
Some janky website, some suspicious website.
That will not be it certainly will not be an officially licensed product, because that's not a thing. Like, I don't know why, but that is a thing that it became less interesting for these companies to make shows that like developed an audience that would stick around for it for years and years, and just like kind of wanted to throw out show after show after show and be like, is this a hit? Is this a hit? Is this a hit? No, kill it. This one's a hit. Play this for 14 hours a day for the next 10 years.
I'm curious.
And that's how we got SpongeBob.
As an old man that you are you more inclined to go watch something nostalgic for you, or to go try a new show that a studio has put out?
That's a good... I tend to try these days to be relatively up to date. I like to sample new animation, but I'm more interested in the like stuff that comes from people that I've like found organically online generally, who tend to be like posting their stuff on YouTube or whatever first, and some of those have turned into like bigger produced like studio projects. But I will say it's been, I think like maybe Infinity Train was the last,
which we did not get all of either.
It also got killed before the end of season 4, I think, if not season 5. I know there's at least 3 full ones, and then 4 or 5 is where it falls off.
I stopped I think I stopped in the middle of season 1 because they're like, we're not renewing this, and you have no.
And we didn't finish the story.
I'm just like,
yeah. And unfortunately, that has been kind of the trend of the landscape, because otherwise it's like SpongeBob to me is a nostalgia one from my era. I still remember the day SpongeBob debuted. I sat down and watched it. It's pretty good.
The old SpongeBob is crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I'm trying to like since Steven Universe, which I will say the other thing that I do is I follow animator trees. The same way some sports fans might follow coaching trees. So a very fruitful tree of animation you can trace back to, what's the Flapjack?
Yeah.
Out of which you get Adventure Time, out of which you get Steven Universe, Craig of the Creek, you get Over the Garden Wall, you get...
I'd be shocked if Gumball didn't come from there.
No, Gumball is a separate tree, but a very good one as well. I think the Gumball tree has some split branches with the regular show tree.
Interesting.
But again, those are all ones from like the mid 2010s. These are all 10-year-old franchises essentially. Like a couple of the, but even Craig of the Creek coming off of that pedigree with like the great animators, the great storytelling, have been. I think the regular series got canned. They did launch a spin-off like Nick Jr. style show about his younger sister. It still features like all the same world and cast, but it's definitely a different type of animation project as opposed to the more like older kid, young adult style.
The bad here, of course, if we're talking about good and bad, is boy, do we wish we could have all of our content. The good is surely there's no one who can do worse, right? Hopefully.
I will continue to toot the horn of just support independent artists where you can, and help the people who are actually making the things get their leg up and stop paying the boss of the boss of the boss who pays the cartoonist.
I wish it was that easy for any of the shows, right? Because all the independents have to go through somewhere to get it distributed.
Yeah, trying to bootstrap it through Patreon or a Kickstarter or something. But yeah, that's... To me, that's where the fruitful growth will come from in the animation industry at the moment. There's no hope out of the big studios, but it's a rough time in the major animation. Same in like major video game development. It's even if you release an excellent game that's well reviewed and sells well, that's no guarantee your company won't get like canned and you won't get fired.
No one is safe these days. Unfortunately, we are in sort of the world of what makes the most money and not always what's the best story or the best item out there potentially. It's just whatever you can make the most dollars on.
It's almost like an inherent flaw of capitalism.
Potentially. Who's to say, really?
Indeed. While we're on the topic of video games, though, do you want to, with another week of experience under our belts, come back to our thoughts on the new Pokemon game?
Sure. I will preface this by saying I've seen a whole lot of different reviews varying, and this game is not widely liked. It's a very diverse game. Like it's
yes,
people are very divided. Either you absolutely hate this game, or this game is not that bad, but it's like it could be better.
Almost everyone agrees there are flaws.
Yeah, no one disagrees that there's flaws, but there's like people
and
that
then
like.
It's just a matter of, can you find anything else besides the flaws to have fun with?
Very much so.
Some people can and some people can't.
No, and personally, like I said, I'm coming back to what I've done the first week. I wish the map was bigger. I've seen some of the reviews. I've remembered what our first Legends game looked like, and like I said, I just wish the map was bigger. That is the only gripe I have.
It really is pretty reduced scale. And
I wish I had a few more Pokemon to capture, perhaps.
The Pokédex is relatively small in this entry. It's only like 230 overall, like possible entrance. So a relatively easy one to complete if you want to be a completionist about it, for sure.
Very much so. But in my feels of the game, now that I've gone through, there are some bits and pieces I like and I don't like. Like I said, I really like the gameplay of this game. I like how it looks and feels overall. Like you kind of said, the story it's fine. It's not the best story I've ever played, and I wish there was a bigger map and more Pokemon. That's sort of where I put it. I'm like, on a scale of 10, I'd probably give it a 7 on Pokemon bias in general. Like, I
was also going to say on a scale out of 10, probably a 7 for me.
Like, there are things that are for sure not perfect about it that I wish they had, but I'm not mad about playing it. I'm enjoying my time and going through. Now that I've started to unlock some more things and being able to traverse a few different ways,
Yes, I think it's, and this is a strange thing that Legends has done, because the first one also suffered from this, where you don't really unlock everything. Like, the pacing is just kind of wild on how they've let you get access to things, and so it's not until pretty much Act 3 of the game where you're actually being like, oh, this is how it was supposed to be the whole time. Yeah, this is pretty good. Why'd you make me do the first 2/3 of it without all the toolkit?
I'm almost tempted to go back and play the original Legends, because seeing how that one played, it makes me want to go. Like I said, I like all the things here. I just want it to be in the open world. That's my biggest gripe.
Yeah, I will say the extra week for me, what I do like about the new combat system is that it does basically flip my understanding of the big library of Pokemon moves kind of on its head. Like, some moves are still good, but now there's a whole different calculus of which moves and how to make a 4-move set based on these cooldowns, and being like, well, if I do, like, I could run a combo of just burning all these cooldowns at once, and that's a generally pretty easy thing to do. Or I can, strategize for a longer battle if I need to, that type of thing. Different moves are more viable now than they have been, as we touched on a little bit, especially like the status condition ones.
There are other moves that are just garbage.
And some moves that used to be really good, are now not really useful at all.
Yeah, like Substitute, where you throw out a stuffed animal, it's like, oh, that's cute.
And then immediately is destroyed.
I don't even destroy it. It's like, oh, that's cute. Focus back on our target.
Yeah. I mean, I think Dig, that used to be a pretty reliable ground move for me, I do not prioritize as much as any of the other ones.
I still love me a Dig.
It has its use cases, but it's a little less go-to for me now. I think I mentioned this to you before. I've never utilized Fire Blast more. I used to never put Fire Blast on a Charizard.
You used to never put it. I'm a psycho.
You are a psycho.
I'm a psycho.
When there's Flamethrower that does you have way more, but that was back on the old system when we weren't on cooldowns.
We didn't.
You only had 5 uses of Fire Blast.
I cannot tell you how much I love not having the PP system. God, I hated the PP system.
That was one of the classic quote. Also, yes, that was one of my biggest stumbling points, where I had to get out of the habit of being like, I can't use that. I've only got. Wait, no, I don't. I can use it every 6 seconds.
Yeah, like Fire Blast is a 10-second move. Some of them take a little bit to wind up, and that's
the price you pay.
A little scary, but I'll take that over. You get 5 of these in the whole fight
before you have to go back to a Pokemon Center.
Yeah, you get 5 of these. No, Charizard just doesn't forget, or he's not exhausted of the move. I'm sure he can do it again.
Nope, 5 and he's done.
No, it's ridiculous.
You got to give him a nap. So on the other side of that, though, I would say one of my biggest complaints now with the real-time system is I can no longer casually play this game while watching something on a screen elsewhere. I can't be distracted for 30 seconds by a funny bit that I'm watching on Dropout, and then if I do that now, I turn back down and it's like, oh, you died.
The crazy, I accidentally got into a fight, and I'm just sitting there and it's like, oh my god, I'm in the middle of a battle.
Yep.
But like I said, I am more okay with that.
This is definitely the hardest veer Pokemon as a franchise has taken, and it's still not very deep into, but it is kind of touching the border of Souls-like land.
The one thing that we have different is I think on the Switch 1 versus Switch 2, you don't have to deal with what I would call as the Pokemon party battles that happen. Like I think it's all due to the animation. Like you have like the Pokemons, they'll stand there and like try to attack you. No, I have so many Pokemon running around chasing me if I run by them.
Oh, sure. I mean, it kind of depends. I think you've been doing a lot more Pokedex completion than I have. I have been doing kind of bare minimum wild zone safari hunting.
I gotta get all the Pokemons.
So I'm pretty like used to being like, if I run through, I am gonna aggro a bit of a crowd, which again, is a little bit into the Souls-like territory, and that is a pretty big vibe change from how Pokemon used to be. In the same note, the rogue mega evolved Pokemon, spoilers if you haven't played more than 2 hours into the game.
I hate all the stupid special but that's me.
I mean, because that is basically a Souls-like boss where you're, instead of really being concerned about like type matchups and that type of thing, which was the classic Pokemon formula, it is very much now learning attack patterns, timing dodge rolls.
The one thing that upsets me about that is if I have a Pokemon out there, it also feels like a substitute situation. It's like, that's cute. Destroy you.
Yeah, why am I getting targeted?
Yeah.
Fight the Pokemon.
Yeah, why am I over here rolling? There's a bigger, badder enemy out there that is trying to hurt you. I am but a little boy at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, it's a fun. I think it's definitely nice to have a breath of fresh air in the franchise with the Legends entry here, but it is not as satisfying as a full Pokemon meal, I would say.
Would you be satisfied if they took both our Legends games and kind of fused them
some sort of
fusion together?
That would probably be an ideal Pokemon entry if you had the new combat system, the new moveset rules, and were able to implement it out in a bigger map.
Because
for sure,
like a franchise that some may say is very similar to them, the Digimon world,
sure,
where we're not creating nearly as many Digimon anymore, but we're more focused on what the story is and how the gameplay is. I don't know how many more Pokemon I truly need, and Digimon, I don't know if it was a coincidence or not, dropped not too long after Pokemon ZA here. Much more, actually, I think it's, depending on who you go by, it's a much more raving review of that guy than our ZA that we're playing currently.
Yeah, what is that new one called?
Time Strangers, I do believe. Digimon Time Strangers.
Digimon Story Time Stranger, yes. And this one rave reviews, 9 out of 10 rating on Steam, 8
probably
out of 10
the
on
most
IGN.
Beautiful Digimon game I've ever seen.
Oh, it's gorgeous. Yeah, and this one did release a full 2 weeks before Pokemon. This came out October 2nd, so same day as Ghost of Yotei. But yeah, I've seen certain, now there are, in the same way Pokemon has its extreme fanatics, there are some certain type of Digimon fans who have been very excited about this game, and if not for the reason that you can have your Digimon, you can ride the Digimon, and there are some Digimon who are a lot more humanoid than others, and when you ride them, they just carry you on their big bicep. And that's right up a lot of people's alley. Yeah,
like I said, for my Pokemon wishes now is like, I don't know how many more new Pokemon I need. Like, I feel like the 1,000 or 1,000 plus that we have is more than enough to make a bunch of different special stories, especially now that we're in the concept of let's mix and match all these guys together that Legends had brought us together.
That reminds me of another note about the narrative and what the Legends series is doing, because we talked about how tutorially and like very intro to Pokemon world it feels when you're getting handheld through like all these mechanics and stuff, and yet this is a game that also expects you to have played X and Y of the games that are 10 years old, 15 years old, and remember all the different callbacks and characters and references to that game series that it's being made in this one, to remind you like, oh, remember, it's the same world. But it's like, do I remember? Do you want me to have been that old and been playing since then, or am I new to this game? Make up your mind, Pokemon.
Hey, good and bad, man. Good and bad.
For sure. And again, I think are you still rank E?
I just jumped up to D.
Okay, then we are about at the same spot. So you just got the new batch of rogue megas to have to go take care of?
Not quite. I'm eating my delicious curry.
You're about to find out about the new batch of Rogue Megas that are.
What is it? The trash curry baguette or curry
croissant?
Yeah, curry croissants. That's it.
I mean, and I don't know why the one character Naveen is so opposed to them. It's obviously in France you're going to have croissant.
That might be my favorite thing in the world is him. As we're eating our curry croissant, he's there with just a giant sub in front of him.
Yeah, that's pretty fun. It's kind of funny all the detail they put into rendering those little bits of food that we do see in this game, but I do appreciate it.
Yeah, no cooking in this one though. Been a while.
Would have loved a cooking minigame. I mean, the only two real gameplay loops in Pokemon Legends is either the go out and battle the wild Pokemon, which is essentially the same mechanics as battling trainers now. The platforming puzzles, quote unquote, of the scaffolding around town to try and get the little bits and bobs from them. And then the Rogue Megas, which is like the boss battles, and when you run for your life and try and get your Mega. And I understand now why we had to have such a deep library of Mega Pokemon, because they're throwing a lot of different... you throw a lot of Megas at the player, they need a lot of different options for mix and match in the toolkit.
I ain't Mega Evolving unless I absolutely have to.
That's insane. The bosses are so hard without the Mega bonus.
Who you telling? No, it depends on which level you go. And I'm kind of going
over-leveling?
I'm kind of over-leveling. I'm kind of I'm trying to max out where I'm possibly can be right now.
I mean, this is definitely throwing me for one of the bigger loops in terms of I'm trying. These used to be tried and true type matchups where I knew who was coming out on top in this one, and these Rogue Megas are really making me rethink some of these.
Different typing, man.
It's not even the typing; it's just the effectiveness. Where I'm certainly Waterfall will be effective against this big fireman. Yeah. Boop. Just a little. That ain't what I thought was going to happen.
That's cute.
Mm-hmm.
Attack the trainer.
Yeah, run, roll. Spend a lot of time rolling in those boss battles.
Anyway, I think that is going to be our week of good and bad here. Why don't you take us out?
Yeah, thank you once again for sticking with us for a week of 321 Presents. If you're listening on Spotify, go ahead and leave us a 5-star review. Same on Apple Podcasts, if that's where you found us. We'd love you to share the show around with friends and family and coworkers and anyone else who is in listening range. Same thing, if you found us on YouTube, hit that like and subscribe button, share the clips around, all that good stuff. And if you're ever in doubt on where to find the latest episodes, the latest news, the latest updates, that's all going to be at the website, 321pods.com. And otherwise, I think that takes care of business. Next week, or our next episode, will be a little off schedule because it's going to be a Halloween special. So hopefully you're looking forward to that, and we'll see everyone on Halloween.
Adios.
Adios.